Hi guys, today I wanted to do a review of The Secret Garden coloring book, which is an adult coloring book that has been one of the most popular coloring books out there. It really is one of the ones that started the whole trend of adult coloring books in the last few years. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I like and I dislike about this book. Overall, I think it's a really great coloring book, but there are some specific things that you may want to keep in mind if you are considering purchasing this book. So first, what I like. This book is really beautiful. The pictures are super intricate. As the name implies, it is all garden themed. So you're going to have a lot of flowers, gardens. Here's a scarecrow. They're very beautiful images. They're clearly, the illustrator of this book, Johanna Basford, clearly put in a lot of effort to really make all these images very beautiful. This is one that I have completed, and this was done with Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. So this is one that I've completed. I've also started this one, trying to do a little bit more of a monochromatic color palette. So that's the major thing about this book that I really love. I think the images are really beautiful. If you like nature themed images, that's what you're going to get in this book. A lot of flowers and leaves, and other garden images. I also really like the paper of this book. It is pretty thick and sturdy. It's not like a child's coloring book that has really flimsy paper. This really is a nice quality paper. I haven't tried it though with any kind of markers or pens that may be more likely to bleed through. So that might be something to keep in mind as well, that I have not tested it with those materials. Another thing to keep in mind about the paper specifically is it's not a bright white. It is more of an off-white cream color. And for some people may not like that. I know some colors really like to have the bright white paper where their colors are going to be really super rich and vibrant. However, I think the off-white really looks nice for the theme, which is nature, flowers, leaves. I think that the off-white looks a little bit more natural and really pulls in the whole theme. So that is something I really enjoy about this book. Another thing that I really like is in some coloring books, you see a lot of colored images that are already colored. So you might have example images that are already colored in. You might have a border around the book that's colored in. And for me, I don't really like that. I want to have a clean slate where I can put any color on the page that I want. Sometimes when I see example images, I kind of get that one image stuck in my head, and it's hard for me to be completely creative in coming up with my own designs. And so I really like that there's no pre-colored images. Even the front and back cover of this book are black and white. You can color them in. The only exception is there are some of these metallic gold colored leaves, which are already there. But other than that, it's completely black and white. It's really a clean slate for you to put in your own color and use your own imagination. So those are the things that I love about this book. However, there are some things that kind of drive me crazy about this book too, that you may want to know that I did not know before purchasing. So the first is that the coloring goes often really close to the crease here. And so what that means is the little details that are right here in the crease, those can be really hard to color in. This is an example of a little bit of that, but there are other pages where it's more of a concern. There's more details. So let me try to find one of those pages. So for example, this page has a lot of details, and it goes right into the crease. And those areas are really a pain to have to color in. And also, if you're planning to remove the pages, I mean, you're going to have to be very careful and take an X-Acto knife and really cut the edges very cleanly, because there's really no room for error. It goes right up to the edge. So that's something I don't really like. Also, going off that, there are no perforations or anything like that. Keep that in mind. If you're planning on taking out the images and hanging them on your wall or something like that, it may be worth it to cut out the page before you start coloring on it. Just because if you happen to accidentally rip the page while you're taking out of the book, you want to do that before you have spent all the time coloring it in. So that's something that is a little bit annoying. The other thing that I don't love is that all of the pages are double-sided, and this one, it kind of makes sense because the image continues from one page to another, as you can see. But on some of the other pages, there'll be two separate images. So for example, here, we have two separate images. This one is completely separate from this one, yet they're both, facing each other, and they're both double-sided, which for me has not been a huge issue, just because I've been using colored pencils that don't really smear or bleed through. However, if you're someone using markers or something that is going to bleed through the page, then you may have difficulties because you'll have to choose which side of the page you want to use. Also, if you're using any type of medium that may smear a little bit, then you may have to have the same thing. You may have to do the same thing where you're choosing between which side of the page you like. So that's something I'm not crazy about. Also, something to keep in mind that is both a pro and con of this book is that the images are very, very detailed. And on one hand, that's something I really love. I think the detail and intricacy makes the images really beautiful. But at the same time, having so much detail makes it take a long time to color these images in. So here's the one that I have completed. This took me probably 10 days of working every single day for over an hour. And I did not expect that it would take that long. And granted, I spent time like shading in different colors and really trying to put detail in there. But at the same time, I mean, I'm sure I could have gone slower if I was really focused on putting detail and into each leaf and each petal. I think I worked at a medium speed, and it still took me way longer than I thought. So if you're someone who wants to have some options of coloring where you can just sit down one evening, spend 2 hours, and have a page completely done, then this is probably not the book for you. Unless you're just a very speedy colorer. Maybe if you're not doing much shading or anything like that, and you're just doing like solid colors in each shape, then maybe you could do it faster. But I don't think it's really possible to get one of these done in a day unless you're working, all day, on the weekends or something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. And this is not even the most intricate drawing. I mean, right next to it, we see this one. I mean, that's really intricate right there. There are a ton of details, and that's going to take you a long time to do. And so I know there are other coloring books out there that do have more simple designs that still look nice, but, are not going to take you weeks to complete. So if that's something you're interested in, I would look at those. And then the last thing that I didn't realize before I got this book that I really don't like, is that there's writing on some of the pages that basically ask you to complete the drawing. So for example, this is a picture of a scarecrow, And then up close we have right there, draw a flock of birds perched on the scarecrow. Well, I don't really want to draw additional things on the image. If I just liked that scarecrow, I don't want to have to draw birds around it. And it kind of annoys me because I don't think I will be completing this page now, because even after I complete it and I draw on the scarecrow, I think it's going to look a bit incomplete if I haven't drawn more birds. So I think what they should have done with this book is, I think they could have left this image exactly how it is, left the scarecrow without extra birds, and then maybe in a foreword or on the cover or on, some page separate from the drawings, they could have written a note that says, add your own creativity, put in your own drawings, add extra detail. And maybe they could have given you a suggestion of a specific pen or type of pen or something that would allow you to draw lines in the same consistency, the same thickness as the drawings that are in the book. Because personally, I really don't like that. Because for me, even after I complete it, it will still look incomplete if I haven't drawn these birds. So I don't like that. I don't think that my drawing skills are that great, and I don't think that I would be able to draw birds as detailed and nice looking as the ones that are right there. So I don't think that I will be doing that, and that really turns me off to this book and these specific pages, because I don't like that. And they do this several times. See on the next page, fill these branches with a chorus of songbirds. However, if you're someone who wants to add your own creativity to a coloring book and do even more than what's on the page, then that may be something that you really like. I think every person who's coloring is different. And if that's something that you like, then this could very well be your next coloring book that you should look at. So overall, those were the things that I really liked and disliked about The Secret Garden. Overall, I would really recommend this book. Despite the problems that I have with it, no coloring book is going to be completely perfect. There's going to be things that are good and bad about every single one. But overall, I think this coloring book is really great quality. I think the images are really beautiful, and I'm looking forward to completing more pages in this book and looking at Johanna Basford's other books in the future. So that's it. Thanks guys for watching.